Oh, hello everyone, I'm back. Just realized I should change the name of the screen. It's no more Gregor, it's me. Our next guest has coached thousands of walkers, runners, to improve their technique and the health of their feet since 2011. Benjamin Vesconte is a functional exercise specialist and personal trainer and coach working for the popular shoe brand Vivo Barefoot. As you may already know, the technology used in Vivo Barefoot shoes is aimed at offering the optimum biomechanics and posture commonly associated with walking barefoot and barefoot running, and advocated within the barefoot movement and barefoot running community. Ben's goals are to debunk common myths around feet, movement, and running, and to coach everybody to stand, walk, squat, jump, and run pain-free with vitality. Those who also joined us yesterday know that he's providing us with an interactive session specific to the theme of the day. Very cool. So today his theme will be reconnect with our feet, myth-busting, scientific and practical tips to embrace our feet. Benjamin, I welcome you very, very excitedly. Thank you for being here. I think you're on mute still.
There we go. I had unmuted it, but it must mute you back in there. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Excited.
Very good. Very good. Wonderful. All right. Shall we get going? Let's have a look at this. Am I on the main screen there? There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you are having a fantastic day and enjoying all the wonderful speakers and talks at Youth 2.0. So yes, my name is Benjamin Bacon. We are here to talk about the wonderful biomechanical marvels that are our feet. And I would like to begin today by giving our feet a round of applause. So we are going to just sit in a position like this, cross your legs, where you can give the sole of your foot a nice slap. And this is exactly what I would like you to do for about 30 seconds. We're just going to congratulate our feet on helping us get around. Do you know how many steps we averagely take sort of in our lives? Well, if we're taking about 10,000 steps a day, you carry on slapping, I'm going to stop doing that just because I'm going to talk to you. But if we're taking 10,000 steps a day, what's that? 3.6 million steps a year. Yeah. So that is 36 million steps in 10 years, 360 million steps in a 100-year lifetime. Of course, hopefully we can all get to do that many steps, but there's a huge amount of steps. So it's so important to reconnect with our feet and just think about what feet are for, how they function, and how we're using them when we're moving around day to day. So congratulations to those lovely feet, and let's swap over and congratulate the other foot as well. Here we go. And there is genuine purpose of doing this. Of course, we are waking up the soles of our feet, reconnecting. You can give them a massage, move your thumbs up and down. And we're just going to be getting more into mobilizing our toes and the balls of our feet. So there we go, little massage, and keep slapping away. This is a fun thing to do at the start of, any little mobility session. Just prepare your feet. Shouts out to Mr. Tony Riddle, the natural lifestylist on Instagram. If you want more tips and tricks of how to live a barefoot natural life, then please do check out Tony. Feels nice. Wake the feet up. Okay, now and again, get in there with your thumbs. There are a few really nice spots to get with our thumbs. Number one being just in front of the heel. Lots of us can have sort of a little bit of pain or sensitivity in our heels and in the arches of our foot. And just in front of the heel here is an awesome spot to massage. And we'll have a go at doing that standing with some massage balls either later in this session or tomorrow. But just slowly move your thumbs through your arch all the way up to just behind the ball of the big toe. Now, this is a really important little area. We have a number of muscles and tendons that are running around here. The big toe muscle, the flexor hallucis longus, actually goes all the way in there and all the way up deep into the calf. So that's the long one. The short one is in here, and that flexes the toe down. And there are also muscles and tendons which go across the arch here, and they help to form the foot into a rigid lever for propulsion. And again, we'll talk more about that as we go, but the function of the big toe is really, really important. So doing these things, we can be mobilizing our feet and reconnecting, just embracing our feet and getting in tune with them. Okay, and move across just behind the balls there. Don't be on the balls, just be behind, all the way out to the outside of your foot. Okay. And then let's do the massage on the other side as well. So starting off in the middle, just in front of the heel. This is a great spot, as I've said, just to relieve any kind of sensitivity that you might have in your heels. And that's a good point to talk about cushioning in shoes. Often, cushioning has the opposite effect than we think it does. If you think when you're walking around barefoot and without cushioning underneath your foot, we tend to be a little bit more careful about how we move and how we walk. And by putting cushioning under our feet, we are taking away that feedback, the sensory feedback, and we tend to, and we can walk with, you know, heavier heel strikes and put more impact into our body, but we can't feel it because we've switched the foot off by the cushioning. So there we go, yeah. And also, of course, you're not loading the foot by having the cushioning underneath. You're not loading it as skillfully, as appropriately, therefore it can actually lead to more stiffness in the foot because, of course, it's not moving as much. Okay. So it's a really, you can be quite, let's say, strong with your thumbs moving through the bottom of your feet and just feel if there are any sensitive spots there. If it's sensitive in the middle area of the balls of your feet, we don't have one ball of our foot. The balls are the ends of the metatarsals, being the ball of the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. So we have 5 balls. And if you have some sensitivity in the middle balls, then it's a really good idea to do lots of the big toe exercises that we're going to do in a minute. All right, so let's mobilize our big toes. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is we're literally going to support our foot with, so I'm using my right leg here. It's probably coming across the opposite way around there, but this is my right leg, right hand, and my left hand, I'm going to bend my big toe down and up and down. Can you see that there? So I'm bending my big toe all the way down and back up. And again, we want 60 to 90 degrees of range in the big toe. Dorsiflexion up to enable kind of skillful walking. There's different ways of getting this mobilization going, but firstly, just doing it with your fingers is a great way to start. Of course, you can swap over there. It's just good to stabilize the ball whilst you're bending with the other hand. Yep. Okay, so up and down. You can then twist it in its socket just a little bit. We're not trying to snap anything off here. We're just, you know, lubricating the joint, let's say, mobilizing. Motion is lotion is a lovely description. So we're just twisting the big toe in the socket, and we can also pull it out, pull it away from the other toes. And you can add some resistance to that. What I mean by that is you can actively pull your big toe back into the other toes whilst you're pulling it out. We have muscles in between our toes to help us splay and spread them. We'll do more of that in a minute too. So pulling out, resist back in, and then push in and resist back out. And when you do this one, hopefully you can feel it in the inside of your arch. The abductor hallucis is the muscle that pulls the big toe out away from the other toes, and that's also responsible for maintaining the integrity of our longitudinal arch, let's say, whilst it's under loading. Yeah, so pushing that one in, resist, back out. Yeah, so we've done down, up, twisting, in, out, and lastly, just pull your big toe out of its socket. You know, again, you can be reasonably aggressive with these things, but you know, we don't want to snap anything off. Okay, that's that one. Next, let's go for the other side. We'll speed these up a bit so that we get through lots. Big toe down, and again with this one, you can also resist back up here too. So I'm pulling down with my finger and resisting back up with my big toe, and then the same. I'm going to hold up with my hand and pull back down with my big toe. Okay, then let's do the twisting. And this is an interesting point right here. Whilst I was resisting my big toe there, it reminded me of how fascinated I was when my daughter was learning how to stand and walk, and how important the big toe is when we first learn to stand and walk. So keep doing these. I'm going to push in again towards the toes and resist back out. So when my daughter was first learning to stand, of course you're standing, but you've got vertigo, you're wobbling around quite a lot, you know, you're holding on to things. And one day she was stood there wobbling around, toes were sort of up and down, and all of a sudden, whack, she pinned a big toe in the floor, and that was it. She was totally balanced. There's no such thing as standing still, but she was standing confidently. And I tried to lift her big toe out of the floor, and I could lift her whole body, supported her hips, could lift her whole body up just with that big toe muscle. So we are supposed to have extremely strong big toes. Yet, again, because of narrow toe boxes in shoes, squishing our toes together and toe spring, turning the front of the shoes up, a lot of us are disconnected from our toes and from, they've got weak. Ultimately. So spending more time barefoot, reconnecting with your feet, doing these exercises. Now I'm going to pull it out away from the other toes and resist back in. Help us to get our feet back to some kind of natural level of function. Of course, you can take foot exercises to greater and greater levels. We're lucky enough to know that a number of performance coaches in Europe and America use these kind of toe exercises to rehab athletes, because feet are often overlooked, and also have them wearing barefoot shoes in order to strengthen their feet and regain that function. All right, so now we're just going to do a little bit more of the twisting and pulling it out away from the, pulling it out of the socket. Okay, so that's a nice reconnection with our feet, and hopefully a little bit of myth busting stuff too. Now, one other thing to talk about, I mentioned the big toe and how important it is, but most of us know that we have arches in our feet. So the simplest way of thinking about it is there's an arch on the inside of the foot, there's an arch on the outside of the foot. Obviously, the one on the outside is generally lower, and there's also an arch going across the foot, and all of them help to work as mobile adapters for shock absorption and also rigid levers for propulsion and moving up. But there's a lovely scientific research paper that came out this year about the stiffness of the transverse arch and how it helps to form that rigid lever. And they used a wonderful analogy, which is that of a pizza slice. So if you have a piece of paper or anything, or a pizza, and you keep it floppy like that, the whole thing will bend quite easily. As soon as you bend it in the middle like this, and ultimately the foot is a reverse shaped pizza slice, as in it's pointed there and fanning out towards the toes, by the big toe functioning and all of the bones and ligaments and tendons in the tarsus, which is all the bones in the rear of the foot, and the metatarsals all come together to form that kind of pizza slice shape, which gives the foot the strength for propulsion. And all of these exercises are helping to regain connection with and function with the big toe, so that when you're gonna miss my head here, just see my toes. But when we pin our big toe down, that pizza slice is coming into form, because there are tendons and muscles and ligaments that are going from here across there, forming this. And of course, it's not just that, it's the entire foot structure together. So perhaps rather than thinking about an inner arch, an outer arch, and a transverse arch, it's perhaps better, and there's another scientific research paper on this called The Foot Core from 2013, where they talk about the foot as a half-dome elastic recoil mechanism. So it is splaying, underloading, being a mobile adapter. As the weight of the body moves over the foot, it becomes a rigid lever and springs off. Okay, goody good. So let's try and do some little toe coordination exercises here. All right, can you pin your big toe down and lift the other ones up? Again, ideally you're standing doing these, so I'm just going to hang down here so you can see me and you're not just watching my feet. But big toe down, little toes up. And on this, the ball of our little toe needs to stay in contact with the floor. Yeah. So big toe down, little toes up, and then swap it round. Can you do little toes down, big toe up? Yeah. And if you want to get the most benefit out of these, and you can take them all the way to the level of really pinning your big toe hard in the floor, then that will actually improve, the strength of those short big toe muscles and the long big toe muscle I mentioned, and ultimately the integrity of that transverse arch. Okay, so there we go. You can do them on your other foot. If you notice that one foot is harder than the other, you know what you need to do. Do them more on the foot that you're finding tricky. Yeah. Okay, then next I'm going to have to stand for that one. Next is just allowing your big toe to go under and the other toes to go forward. A lot of people might find that sensational, let's say, rather than it's painful. But don't worry, you just go easy with it. If start where you are, if you can only bend the ball of your big toe a little bit, then go there. Just gently teasing a little bit more range in. Yep, and then swap it round, roll the outside toes underneath, bending them down. This is I've got a thumb on my foot. Dun, 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 and push your big toe in the floor. Yeah, other side, big toe back, little toes forward. I damaged the ball of my big toe on this foot. I was informed it was calcified and I wouldn't get range back into it. Well, you can, with some gentle practice and persistent dedication, one can do amazing things to reform and regenerate our bodies. Okay, and then little toes back, big toe forward. Okay. You can really push that big toe in the floor if you want to, you know, take it to another level. Now let's have a go at spreading and squishing together. So can you spread them as wide as you can, and then squish them together. Again, when we are running, and we recommend many weeks, months of practicing toe exercises, wearing a good wide, thin, flexible shoe and reconnecting with your feet before you do running. But when we run, of course, the foot is splaying and squeezing together, and it is when we walk as well, but under less load. You can even do these exercises with resistance bands to make them even more beneficial, as it were. Okay, so squish, 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 and splay, and squish, and splay. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. You can see I'm probably going to get wrapped up in a jiffy. So what I would like you to do for your homework overnight, please, is practice writing something with your feet. So number one, I've got a marker pen here. Can you, this will be fun, this is where, can you take the lid off, pop it down there, I'm going to swap it round, there we go, swap it round, and then just practice writing something. I'm going to quickly write my name. Really want to keep our heel on the floor here. I'm not going to write my full name because that would take about half an hour. But anyway, just see if you can have a go. Can you even see that on there? That's a very rough effort of a pen there. Just have that. Yeah. You know, people are capable of doing phenomenal.
And just to tell you that we are running shortly out of time.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you are finished?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
We're good. I was just wanting to give you a little bit of homework, and we'll carry on tomorrow with reconnecting with our feet and even get into a little bit of the skill of kind of jumping and walking, which are precursors to running. So wonderful. I hope that was
very
fun.
nice. Thank you so much, Ben.
Yeah,
Very interesting yesterday.
Thank you, for this wonderful food session, and
looking forward to tomorrow's session.
Absolutely. Yes, we'll be back with more. Delighted to be here.
Have a lovely evening.
Take care. Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.